to be perfect.
It's on?
Yeah, I think we're on. Hopefully people can hear us. So I'm here with Laura Rivera. Is that how you say your name?
Yes, that's right.
And we've been having a 2-hour discussion about business, about life, about travel, about branding, about everything. And so did you want to introduce to everyone what you do? What is it that you do?
Well, I do actually lots of stuff. I think one of the major things you'll find out on LinkedIn, I do a lot of videos, and some of my passions that I have is one, sharing my stories and being quite inspirational with it, because I think we all have a story to tell. And that's when I've become quite authentic with my story and really, seeing how I can actually impact other people with it. I've also been in the corporate world for about 15 years or so. I've got a lot of knowledge there in terms of, where do I even start? I think some of you might see that I do have a passion for data science and AI, and it is definitely, I see within the next 2 years or so, with what I'm seeing, there's a huge opportunity there, and that's for a lot of people out there. There's a lot of talk about jobs being automated. I think there's about 47% can be automated now.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm such a big advocate for it, is making sure that everyone, being really mindful, making sure they're upskilling, and then also being able to do more of the creative stuff as well, when people actually thought, actually, there's a robot that could do this. There's a lot of things that I do, and I think, a robot could do this. I could actually program something and make it, make it do it. And I think as humans, we're so much more creative, and we don't use all of our talents. So that's something I'm definitely passionate about, making sure people can perform at their peak. A big feedback that I get within the organisations that I've worked with is, Laura, you're a high performer. You're outperforming, and I know, Rana, you're really good at this. It all comes to mindset, right?
Yeah.
When you have in your mindset whatever it is, and I remember yesterday I walked past one of the buildings. Sorry if I'm talking too much, but I walked.
We have Mario. He's from LinkedIn, and Dominica.
Oh,
Hello.
hi.
So just to
Hi,
see
Mario.
who's with us.
Hi, Mario.
Hi, Mario.
It was really funny. I went to a networking event yesterday, and I walked past the first building that I had my first job at, and it reminded me, when I walked in for that interview, I was so nervous. But the thing was, I had in my mindset, I walked in the building, it was such a nice building. I went up, it was on level 20, and I remember, and I looked out and I saw the Harbour Bridge. And as my first corporate job, I said, I have to get this job.
Wow.
I already had it in my mindset. I walked out of there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not sure how I went. I did my best. And then the actual agent called me and said, Laura, you got the job. So that just really shows, in terms of having the mindset, having the vision with whatever you'd like to have, and just going forward.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate of mindset, and I know you are. You've been really performing quite well with the sales team and the coaching that you do. So.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. So you have to, if you don't know who Laura Rivera is, she's viewed on LinkedIn, and her videos go viral, and she can get anywhere between hundreds and thousands to millions of views. And she's only started a few months ago. And look her up, and I'll put her link to her LinkedIn in the comments. Actually, I'll put it in the post. But if you look at her videos, it's such high quality. Now she's a data scientist, but she has both creative, and she's also got the analytical mind. And that's me. I'm too creative. I'm too much to the right side, and that's what I suffer in the detail, in the numbers and all that. Now I just wanted to. So I didn't introduce you properly, but I wanted to talk about now for this topic, being too authentic in business, because I've heard of people. There's this thing, be authentic, be yourself. That's great, we need to be authentic, but at the same time, I've heard of people losing business because they were too authentic. And I'm not saying for them not to be, but for example, a woman, I read one of her comments, she said how she did a radio interview and she admitted how what did she do? She was a bully in school. So she was a bully in high school, and she did the radio interview because some coach told her, you need to be authentic, tell your story. But that story did not go down too well, and she lost clients because even though now she's not a bully, but people didn't appreciate that she was a bully, and she actually got bullied just for telling that story. Yeah.
Okay. I think there's so many different angles that you can actually look at this. Now, if one I would always start with is, what is your purpose?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you want to do? So if your main purpose is one based on your business, you do have to keep mindful of if that, who's your target audience?
Yeah.
And when you say authentic, I think there are different degrees of being authentic. I'm really strong with when I say when I think about authentic, it's how can I help other people?
Yeah.
Is it hurting anyone? Making sure that I can use some of my lessons that I can help other people, and I think that's really helped. With my LinkedIn is being quite authentic, because in the beginning I thought I'm not sure if this is a little bit too much, but actually it's how you frame it.
Yeah.
I tell a story about when I was, I grew up from humble beginnings. And for me, that was quite personal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very authentic.
And you actually cried several times on camera. And that's probably too authentic for some people in the corporate world.
But you would be actually surprised.
Yeah.
From that video, I did a video talking about AI and how more and more important that we have to be so much more human, and we have to work on our human skills.
That's so true.
The amount of connections and the following I got from that, really showing my true self.
Yeah.
I had people leaving me voice messages
Wow.
saying, Laura, you are making a difference. I'm going to support you all the way, anything I can do to help you.
Wow.
So, for me, and I kind of just did it on the spot, and that was my true self, because unfortunately, we are human. There are going to be times when we do cry. And I'll use an example. One of my favorite people is Oprah Winfrey. Like, she is honestly, and why do so many people love Oprah?
Yeah.
Because she is authentic. And she lost her job, and I was talking to you about this before, is she lost one of her reporting jobs because she showed too much of herself and she was quite emotional. But if you think long-term perspective, look at what she's done today.
Yeah.
And I think that's extraordinary when you think, okay, authentic, but what's your long-term view?
Yeah.
What's your target audience? What are you trying to achieve?
Getting the right people. Because I also sometimes wonder myself, for example, on LinkedIn, I do a lot of business stuff, but I'm also all about animal advocacy. And I do post maybe once a month on my LinkedIn, but I do get a lot of traction on those posts. And then I've had people that have stopped working with me. I've had people that have blocked me, business associates, because I was being authentic. And I'm not going to stop posting about animals. I mean, they can go and look on my Facebook and they'll see I'm posting about animal stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, should I be smart about it? Maybe I need to block off my Facebook until I become, a multimillionaire. I get a little bit confused. Although, because in my advocacy, I'm very respectful, but it's me. But then I also get vegans who are in business, like CEOs, high level, in Fortune 500 companies come to me and say, I'm vegan. I saw your video. I want to work with you. So you're right. It's just like I'm going through this thought process now. It's asking you, but it's almost like
it's like a mindset thing, right? And what is your target audience? What are you trying to achieve? And long term, you have to think about it long term, so people know who you are. I mean, people might consider that, unfortunately, it could be like discrimination, right? Why would you not deal with someone within business because of what they believe in terms of animal rights?
But there is discrimination, even in Muslims or different races.
I think, more and more, I think that will change. I mean, we are seeing in supermarkets there are a lot more options with vegan options. We're seeing a lot more restaurants now. So if you look, 10 years from now, it probably would become a norm, and no one would even think about that as whether they're going to choose one business over another or dealing with a client. So I think we always have to think long term, really stand up for what we believe in, but understand who your target audience is.
That's true. I think it always goes to the target audience. So on my LinkedIn, I do 90% of my posts are for salespeople. Now, if I suddenly just did it about animal advocacy, I don't think that's smart, because I treat my LinkedIn as I would treat a boardroom. I go into the boardroom, it's about business. I'm not there wearing go vegan shirt and meat is murder. So that's my audience. But at the same time, I know that I'm fully into animal rights and I'm fully into the protecting the animals. So if a CEO says to me, well, I don't agree with veganism, whatever, I would still say, well, you know what, meat, it's wrong to eat meat. That's my beliefs. I still respect you. I respect you as a person. I value you, but you're not going to change my belief.
I was exactly going to touch on that. It is about respect.
Yeah.
And I think people are entitled to their own views, to their own values, and it does come down to respect.
Yeah.
And it's the big thing is like, just make sure in the way you do it, it's not hurting anyone. It's in a very respectful way, and I still think it's still quite early at this stage. But we were seeing even in markets, I read a lot of them in terms of Financial Times. It's a growing industry. So sometimes there's a lot of other aspects to it. I think at this stage, and even within business, there's huge opportunity
Yeah.
if people want to invest in certain companies of that.
Yeah, no, definitely. But you can teach us a lot about being authentic, because even me to get on camera and get emotional is something that I'm not brave enough to do. So I think, yeah, I can go on about veganism or politics or whatever, but I don't think that's as brave as really being vulnerable and sharing your deepest emotions. And you've led the way in that as
Thank
well.
you. I've seen it work.
Yeah.
I've seen it work because people want to trust. People want to work with people who they can just see and they can trust and they
Yeah.
can talk to, and it's a huge part. I am actually releasing a video soon, and it is somewhere where I do. It's about helping kids, and for me, I've got such a huge passion whenever I see there's a need, and sometimes it's about making a difference in someone's life. It might not seem like it's a huge difference, but to that person it means the world.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that if there's something that really touches you and that means a lot to you, and I'll give you an example. When a lot of the actors or actresses, when they pick up their award, they cry
Yeah.
because they know what it took to get that award.
Yeah.
They know all the hard work, they know all the people that supported them, and they know what it took in terms of, just what it took to get there.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about certain causes. Like, I'm just so passionate about it. And I'll get in the moment, I'll record a video, I'll write my story, and I'll be in tears. And that, if you see me normally, but there are certain topics, there are certain causes that will make you feel that way.
Yeah. And I think when you did that first video, you said that you were just talking, saying, you were grateful, but the tears just came.
Yes.
And was it at the point where you were like, should I post this, should I not? Was it that kind of thought process, or were you just like, I'm just going to post this?
Well, I was I started posting videos for about 2 weeks, beginning of this year, because I knew I had in my heart, I've had all this experience, a lot of knowledge that I just want to share with the world.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that. And as soon as the first video, there was a lot of people that kept sending me messages. And it was, if you see any of the messages, you will know why I cry. Because people actually made an effort to say, Laura, that really touched me.
Yeah.
And when you talk about inspiration, it's not inspiring people for that moment, they actually remember you for it, and it's like a trigger for people to act.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's really hard to explain, and I probably do want to actually share with people some of those messages that I got, because there are so many people out there. I think sometimes people talk about trolls and bullies, but there are so many people who are amazing in the world.
Yeah.
And there are only a small amount of people who are bullies, etc. But let's focus on the people who do care, who do support, because that's what counts.
Yeah.
Where you focus your energy on is where that's actually going to grow.
Definitely. And I'm like Corey, he's on camera now.
Hi, Corey.
Corey really cares. If you also go and check him out on LinkedIn, even on his Facebook, he cares. He helps a lot of people, and he's so authentic and genuine. And I felt his amazing energy just watching him for the first time.
I love his value in
Yeah.
30. So Corey, I love your value in 30, because if you can explain it in a way that's really understandable, really quick, it means you really know your stuff. So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep this live going. I will share it if you're happy with it. I'll show it to you. I'll share it on LinkedIn as well later on. And yeah, so reach out to Laura. She's not on Facebook at the moment, but I'm gonna put her LinkedIn as soon as I finish now. I'm gonna put her LinkedIn. Connect with her on LinkedIn, reach out to her and check out her stuff. She's so inspirational, and she's also a keynote speaker. So if you need anyone to come and do any keynotes for you on a range of topics, she's the person. She's won awards for speaking. So and she's willing to travel anywhere in the world, anywhere, even to Antarctica. Is that right?
Because I love traveling and I love connecting with people.
She's
and
a nomad.
Cultures. I just love learning languages. Your life, I find, when you learn more about other people and a lot of cultures, it enriches you so much, much.
Travel.
And you learn so much about other people. You have that respect. So, but anyway, thank you so much, Rana. I really do appreciate a lot of the work that you do. And I think sales more and more today, the more we're connected with in terms of the actual internet on a lot of social platforms, sales is key. And it doesn't matter what position you're in or what you're actually doing, learning how to do sales. If you're in an interview, you're selling. If you're pitching for a project, you're selling. So if you really want to get really good sales advice, make sure you get in touch with
Thanks. Oh, thanks, Laura. All right, thanks everyone, and
Thank you.
thank you.